Hi, in this video I'm going to tell you how do you do test readiness, that is stage number 3 of Learn and Excel process. Now there are three things with regards to how do you do test readiness. The first thing is, rather I should say there are three things that you need to know about test readiness. First of all, when do you do it? Okay. Secondly, why do you have to do it? And then thirdly, how do you do it? Okay. So we'll talk about the when first. When are you ready to do test readiness, that is stage 3? When in at least 2 subsections, okay, in at least 2 subsections during stage 2 of cement methods, what have you done? You have been able to score more than or equal to 50% in at least 2 quizzes of 10 hard questions each. This is the definition of stage 2 cementing methods, and what we mean is that you have done this successfully. Okay, that's when you are now ready to do stage 3, ready for stage 3. Okay, all right, so we know when we have to do stage 3. Now let's talk about why is it that we need to work on stage 3. Okay, we'll talk about the why part now. There are 3 main reasons for it. Okay, the first one is that we want you to be able to successfully switch from one question type to another. By this, what do I mean? Let's say you are doing your verbal test, right? Now verbal, you have 3 kinds of questions: SC, CR, RC. Now the manner in which you approach these 3 questions is different, right? So you should be able to switch your process from SC to CR to CR to RC, RC to CR, RC to SC, and so on and so forth, right? Now this kind of switching is something that you test out, you prepare for in this phase 3, in the stage 3 of test readiness. Okay. Now what is the second thing? Now what's your goal? Your goal is to answer as many difficult questions correctly as you can. So you need to maximize the number of difficult questions that you get correct, right? And that is what gets you to a higher GMAT score, which means that maximizing your GMAT score is your goal. Now how do you do that? In a test environment, you have to be very sure of when is it that you are stuck in a question, right? Your goal is to not get stuck. Okay. How do you do that? Right? That is when you do that by making a decision of when to skip a question. Okay. When you're solving a question, let's say you're solving an SC question, you've read this question, this dense sentence, let's say for a few seconds, let's say 30 to 45 seconds, and you're still not able to get the head or tail out of it. You're still not really confident about the sentence structure, about the meaning that this sentence intends to communicate. At that point in time, you have to let go of that question, because now your time is better spent on answering other questions that are within your capability, right? So you need to know, you need to make that decision. Should I go on? Should I just skip it and move forward? Or should I stay stuck with this question? Invariably, staying stuck is an absolute no-no when your goal is really to maximize your score. Now when you do test readiness, you prepare for that. You're building your skill set to understand when is it that you need to skip the questions. Okay. Now that's the second goal. Now what's your third goal? The third reason why you need to do test readiness is to again maximize your score. Okay. The reason is the same, maximize the score, but this time you're maximizing by increasing the amount of time that you spend on your strengths. Okay. Okay. Now this one was by skipping questions, or rather not getting stuck at questions. I would say that, not getting stuck at questions. Okay. This one is you maximize the amount of time that you spend on your strengths. Now what do I mean that? So what do I mean by that? In a test environment, let's say this is a timed test, right? This is a timed test. Now let's say you are under a timing pressure, and let's say you have 8 quant questions left, in 10 minutes, right? You have 8 quant questions and you have only 10 minutes left. Now you can definitely solve 5 questions correctly, right? And maybe even 6 questions correctly, but let's target 5 questions. Let's say if you know that your strengths are word problems and number properties, so you then decide to spend appropriate amount of time, let's say 2 minutes or 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes on these questions. Now let's say you know that geometry and advanced topics are your weak areas. When you see these questions from geometry and advanced topics, you simply skip those by randomly guessing. By this, what you're doing is you are spreading your 10 minutes on the questions that you know you can definitely get to, okay? That is what the goal is, okay? Now, how do you make sure that you do all of this? You are practicing these 3 aspects. This is the reason why you have to do test readiness, why you have to spend the right amount of time in doing test readiness, in doing stage 3. All right. So when in at least 2 subsections you have mastered cement methods, you have crossed stage 2, you have done stage 2 successfully, okay? Now, when you are, and why do you have to do it? Because it's a timed test, so you need to make sure that you maximize you're maximizing your score in the timed environment. So you need to increase the amount of time that you spend on your strengths, and you make sure that you do not get stuck, and you make sure that you can switch back and forth between amongst different question types. So we understood when, we understood why. Now let's talk about the how part here. Okay, I'm going to go deep into the how part now. First of all, what you need to understand is at what point of your learn and excel stages amongst, as you're proceeding from one subsection to another, you need to do test readiness. Let's say that you're a student who started off with verbal first, okay? So you did SC, then you're planning to do CR, then you're planning to do RC. After that, you'll move on to quant, and then we'll talk about quant in a bit. Now, you did stage 1, okay? Let's say you finished stage 2 of SC, okay? Now, stage 3 is test readiness. There's nothing really to do from the standpoint of test readiness right now because you can't really switch between questions, right? So, you're going to then do, so this is number 1, this is number 2. Now, you do CR, okay? Stage 1, number 3. Then you do CR stage 4. Now, at this point in time, you do stage 3 on mixed quizzes of SC and CR, okay? You do this. This is step number 5 here. Now, you start with RC. You do stage 1 in RC, you do stage 2 in RC, okay? Now that you're done with stage 2 in RC, you do test readiness in using SC, CR and RC mixed quizzes. This is step number 8, okay? So, right now what I'm trying to tell you is at what steps you have to insert the test readiness, okay? Now, let's say you're done with all of verbal. Now, you start with arithmetic sections first in quant, okay? In arithmetic, you do number properties, then word problems, then advanced topics, then you do algebra, in algebra geometry subsection, okay, and then geometry, okay. Now, here again, you do stage 1, number 1, you do stage 2, there's nothing to do in stage 3 right now. Now, here again, number 3, you do word problems, you finish stage 2 of word problems. Now, this is where you start doing your stage 3 for number properties and word problems. You carry, so this is number 5 here. You do advanced topics 6, advanced topics 7. Now, this is where step number 8, you do number properties, word problems and advanced topics mixed quizzes. Again, I'll go into the details of how do you go about doing this. Okay, right now it's important for you to understand where all you need to do the test readiness. Okay, now you're done with this, then you come step number 9, you do algebra stage 1, algebra stage 2. Now, this is where you create another mixed quiz, this time of all the 4 sections that you have completed till now. Step number 11, step number 12, you do geometry, step number 13, you do stage 2 of geometry, then over here you do all of quant. Okay, likewise over here this was all of verbal. Okay, So essentially, if you think about how we are going about doing this, you're doing at least 2 sections. When you're done with at least 2 sections, you are then creating a mixed quiz. Okay. When you're done over here, you're done with all the 3 sections, you're creating another mixed quiz. That's all of verbal. And the same thing you do with once you're done with quant. Now, after you're done with this, okay, you also have to then practice quant plus verbal together. Okay. So in a way, your stage 3 is also split into 2 parts. Okay. Make sure that I get, yeah. This is part 1, wherein you have mixed quizzes of partial sections, mixed quizzes, verbal only. Okay. And then part 2, part 1 here, mixed quizzes, quant only. Okay. Once you are done with this part, then you have part 2, which is nothing but your mocks, quant and verbal. Okay. So I hope the order in which you have to go about doing stage 3 is clear. All right then. So let's now go into the depths of how is it that you actually put all of this into practice.